I confronted my exhausted wife after midnight and accidentally uncovered my father's secret apartment payments. The argument started because my wife kept turning her phone face down whenever I entered the kitchen. It was almost 1 a.m, and we were standing barefoot on cold tile while the dishwasher hummed behind us. She looked exhausted. I asked who kept texting her that late, and she snapped that I was becoming paranoid. I probably was. My father had been stopping by our apartment constantly, always when I was still at work, always bringing groceries or fixing things that didn't need fixing. I remember staring at her shaking hands while she opened another message and locked the screen. Then she asked why I never told her my father still paid rent somewhere across town. I honestly thought she was changing the subject. My father lived alone in a small house outside Dayton after my mother died 4 years ago. At least that's what I believed. My wife opened her banking app and shoved the phone toward me. 3 months earlier, she had accidentally used my father's debit card at a pharmacy after he handed it to her during a grocery run. The app notification stayed connected afterward. Since then, she had been receiving monthly alerts showing $800 payments for an apartment on the west side. She admitted she kept checking because something about it felt wrong. I asked why she hid this from me, and she said every time she tried bringing it up, my father was around, acting normal, helping my son with homework, sitting at our table like family. The next afternoon, I drove to the apartment complex during lunch. It was one of those older brick buildings near the highway with faded numbers and cigarette burns around the entrance bench. I sat in my truck for almost 20 minutes telling myself there had to be some explanation. Maybe he rented storage space. Maybe he was helping somebody financially. I almost left before I finally saw his car pull into the lot. Then a woman stepped onto the balcony above him holding a toddler on her hip. I recognized her immediately because she used to work with my mother at the hospital years ago. My father looked up at them the way I used to look at my own family through our apartment window after work. I felt sick so fast I thought I might throw up inside the truck. He saw me before I could drive away. We talked inside his car because I couldn't stand hearing that child laughing upstairs while he explained himself. He told me the boy was almost 3. He told me he met the woman again during a hospital fundraiser after my mother died, and things got complicated. That was the exact phrase he used. I kept waiting for him to deny the obvious part, but he just stared through the windshield. He admitted the child was probably his. He also admitted my mother knew about the woman before she got sick. Apparently my parents spent years pretending their marriage was stable because they thought it protected me. I remember feeling embarrassed for being 34 and still learning strangers' versions of my childhood. Before I left, he asked me not to tell my younger sister because she still talked about our mother like their marriage was perfect. I didn't go home immediately. I sat in a grocery store parking lot until dark, replaying every conversation I ever had with both of my parents. When I finally returned home, my wife was asleep on the couch with the television glowing across the room. I covered her with a blanket and noticed her phone sitting beside her untouched for once. I realized most of my anger toward her came from embarrassment. She saw the cracks in my family before I did. That part still hurts more than my father lying. I haven't told my sister anything yet, and my father still calls every few days pretending nothing changed. Sometimes I answer. Sometimes I just watch the phone ring while my son plays in the next room, wondering how many normal evenings can quietly hide something rotten underneath them.